Welcome to the MME Day MSTEP presentation. This presentation will discuss the Spring 2019 High School MSTEP assessments in Social Studies and the Science Field Test. I am Phoebe Gose, the MSTEP Test Administration and Reporting Consultant in the Office of Educational Assessment and Accountability at the Michigan Department of Education. This presentation includes 3 chapters, 1 chapter each for before, during, and after the test administration. This first chapter is going to discuss the administrative tasks done before testing. These are the objectives for this first chapter of the presentation. First, I will discuss the resources that are available to you as you prepare to administer the MSTEP. Next, I will list and describe the systems used in the MSTEP test administration. I'll briefly review the Spring 2019 testing schedule for the high school MSTEP assessment. And then, I will discuss how to prepare both staff and students for the MSTEP administration. We will begin with resources that are available for assessment coordinators. All of the resources that I will show you, and many more, are available on the MSTEP webpage at www.michigan.gov/MSTEP. First is our brand new assessment coordinator training guide. This guide provides information that takes assessment coordinators through the tasks and responsibilities done before, during, and after the administration of all of Michigan's statewide summative assessments. If you are a new assessment coordinator, it is suggested that you progress through the entire training guide in the order presented. For returning assessment coordinators, this guide can be used as a refresher. You could use sections of this guide as you approach each task, or if you run into difficulty with any assessment administration task, you can use this document as a reference material. While this training guide provides training for each task that must be done, it is not intended to replace the testing manuals, guides, and other test administration-related resources that are provided. You can find this guide through the link at the top of all of our assessment pages. One more note, the Assessment Coordinator Training Guide webpage includes a link to bookmarks that you can download and save to your web browser for easy links to many assessment-related websites. Other important resources for you to review as you prepare for the Spring 2019 Test Administration are the Guide to State Assessments and the Assessment Integrity Guide. The Guide to State Assessments includes detailed information about state assessments and is important to review. The Assessment Integrity Guide provides information on the prevention and detection of testing irregularities and guidance for follow-up and resolution of any identified testing irregularity, in order to ensure all procedures before, during, and after the test administration lead to student results that accurately reflect a valid and reliable measure of each student's unique and true educational knowledge, skills, and abilities. The Assessment Integrity Guide has been updated for the Spring 2019 administration and should be reviewed for the updated testing policies. For example, the seating chart requirement has been replaced by a testing schedule requirement. I will discuss this in the presentation, but the detailed policy is available in the AIG. You can find these documents, plus a new training based on the Assessment Integrity Guide, by going to the MSTEP webpage. The link for the Assessment Security Modules registration is under the Professional Development section. The MSTEP Test Administration Manual will be available in mid to late January and includes detailed guidelines for before, during, and after the MSTEP test administration. You will find test administration policies, including the scratch paper policy, information about supports and accommodations available for the MSTEP assessment, and the incident reporting table that includes potential test irregularities and their resolution for both paper, pencil, and online test administrations. All test directions are grade-specific. Test directions include specific information about the scratch paper policy, test tickets for online testing, and other important test administration requirements. Test administrators must have printed test directions prior to the test administration for both online and paper pencil tests. Test directions are mailed to schools for both paper pencil and online testing. They can also be downloaded and printed from the MSTEP webpage. It's important for test administrators in either the online or paper pencil administration to preview the appropriate test directions before administering the test. There's information about each assessment and policies for administrators that test administrators need to be aware of before testing. Test directions must be followed explicitly in order to ensure a standardized test administration that results in valid and reliable results for students and schools. Next, we're going to review what's new for spring 2019. The MSTEP Science Field Test will be administered again in grades 5, 8, and 11 and is required for participation purposes. There will be 6 clusters of items on the field test. Because this is a field test, there will only be a high-level aggregate results reported to districts in the dynamic score reporting site, and they will not be included in preliminary reporting. The social studies test is still a fixed form. There is 1 part in grade 11. There are a number of tasks to be done before the MSTEP test administration that occur in the secure site and for online testing, eDirect. Here, I will review these tasks. The OEAA secure site is the assessment system used for many administration tasks, including pre-identifying students for testing, setting up online test sessions, materials ordering, reporting any testing irregularities that occur through the incident reporting tool, and after testing, you can access the downloadable student data files and reports through the secure site. For access to the OEAA secure site, you can go to www.michigan.gov/secure-site-training and select How do I get access to the secure site? The OEAA Secure Site Assessment Administration Tasks presentation of this ME Day training provides detailed information about how to perform the test administration tasks done in the secure site. eDirect is DRC's test management software. Assessment coordinators can set up test sessions in eDirect, as well as in the secure site depending on the date. Student supports and accommodations need to be set up in eDirect. Test tickets and rosters are printed through eDirect, and assessment coordinators can monitor test completion in eDirect. There is a user guide available in eDirect that details the process for each of these tasks. It can be found in eDirect. Select All Applications, then General Information, then Documents, and then search for All. Test administrators do not need access to eDirect. All student tutorials, mini-modules, and the Test Administration Manual, TAM, can be accessed on eDirect. Technology coordinators, district coordinators, and building coordinators do need to have access to eDirect. Access to eDirect is assigned in the secure site. The district administrator needs to assign the role in the secure site, and then the user information is pulled from the secure site into eDirect. The new user then receives an email from eDirect with their username and password information. Secure Site Training provides training documents at www.michigan.gov/secure-site-training. You can view the How do I get access to eDirect document for help with gaining access to eDirect. You can use the Create a New User or Disabling and Changing User Access if you are a district coordinator who needs to assign user access in eDirect. Users can create and edit test sessions in eDirect starting on March 8, 2019. When you are in the eDirect main page, select Manage Test Sessions, which will bring up a window to select. Once you select Manage Test Sessions, you will be prompted to select the test administration and your entity information. At the bottom of the page, select the Add Session button to view this screen. Test tickets are printed from the test session screen in eDirect. Log into eDirect, select Test Management, and then go to Manage Test Sessions. Complete the test, entity information, content, and grade information, and select Show Sessions. This will open to show test sessions. From here, you can select a test session and print all tickets. You can also print tickets individually by selecting the test session, then choosing Edit Print Ticket Status icon that is displayed to the right of the test session. Once you have opened the Edit Print Ticket Status page, you can select the individual student or students whose test tickets you are printing, and then select Print Selected. Trainings on the administrative functions in eDirect will be held on March 5 at 10 o'clock with DRC. These will also be posted in eDirect after the initial presentation. To view them while in eDirect, you will go to All Applications, then select General Information. From this view, select the Documents tab. These trainings will be included in this list. Off-site testing is for schools who, for various reasons, cannot test on-site at their school buildings. Off-site testing occurs for individual students when a school is providing educational services to a homebound student. Students are suspended during the test window, or students who are expelled with service. There are 2 windows for off-site requests. November 5 through January 11, 2019 is for school or building-wide requests. From January 14 through May 1, 2019, schools and districts can request off-site administrations for individual students. If any of these situations occur in your district or school, use the link on the MSTEP webpage at www.michigan.gov/MSTEP to submit an off-site testing request. Be sure to allow 3 business days for a response to your request. If you are in a situation that requires a faster response time, please send an email to mde-oeaa@michigan.gov indicating your need for a faster response time. Next, we will review the MSTEP testing schedule for high school. There are 2 4-week windows for online MSTEP testing. The first online testing window for grades 5, 8, and 11 is the testing window for all MME testers. The online testing window is from April 8 through May 3. This graphic includes the testing schedules for MSTEP grades 3, 4, 6, and 7, MyAccess, SAT, ACT, PSAT, and WIDA. All of these schedules are also available in the Guide to State Assessments document, which is available on the MSTEP webpage at www.michigan.gov/MSTEP. The Guide to State Assessments also includes the test administration dates for paper-pencil testing. These are the high school testing time estimates. For MSTEP, the time estimates for each test do not include time for reading directions, answering questions, or other classroom tasks. The SAT and ACT work keys are both timed tests, while MSTEP is not a timed test. The science field test is estimated to take 1 hour and 30 minutes to complete. The MSTEP Social Studies is estimated at half an hour. College Entrance, the SAT, time estimate includes scheduled breaks. This test will take 4 hours and 22 minutes total. The ACT work keys timing listed here also includes scheduled breaks, and that will take 3 hours. In this section, we are going to focus on preparing staff and students for the MSTEP administration. In preparing students, it is important to use the MSTEP student tutorials. When testing, students need to be aware of the tools that are available to them in the testing engine. The Tutorials and Online Tools Training, or OTT, provide students with this important information and practice, so that when they are taking the MSTEP, they're thinking about the content and not the testing engine tools. To access these tutorials, go to the eDirect webpage, www.mi.drcedirect.com. You do not need a username or password to view the tutorials. Select all applications, then go to General Information. Once you've selected General Information, select the Test Tutorials tab and you can see all of the tutorials in one location. It is suggested that teachers review these tutorials in the classroom with all students and then provide students the opportunity to practice using the OTTs. OTTs can only be accessed in a Chrome browser. The link to OTTs is available on the MSTEP webpage under the Content-Specific Information section. For preparing staff, a frequent question that we hear in preparation for the test administration is what are the guidelines for who can be a test administrator? The Assessment Integrity Guide has been updated for the Spring 2019 test administration, and it provides detailed information regarding how schools and districts identify testing personnel. Rather than a hierarchical structure where test administrators were required to be selected from the highest available, test administrators can now be selected from this list. Licensed teachers or administrators employed by the district, paraprofessionals or non-licensed administrative personnel employed by the school or district who are trained in the test administration policies and procedures for the test being administered can administer the test. Licensed substitute teachers who are employed by the district for the purpose of administering the test and who have been trained in the test administration policies and procedures for the test being administered can also administer the test. Trained proctors may also be assigned to assist a test administrator. Test proctors are most typically a teacher's aide, paraprofessional, or another school or district staff member. A proctor must be supervised directly by a test administrator, must be trained with appropriate testing procedures, and may not independently administer any test. It is important that all staff involved in administering the test are trained in their responsibilities of providing an appropriate testing environment. This includes ensuring the testing room is quiet and orderly, and that seating is arranged in such a way that discourages any sharing of responses. Test administrators must ensure that any content-related poster or display is removed or covered. Posters of encouragement or classroom rules, such as those that say, "Do your best," are permitted. MDE has developed an Insight Tools poster that is approved to be displayed during the test administration. The poster is available on the MSTEP webpage at www.michigan.gov/MSTEP under the Current Assessment Administration section. Look for the link titled MDE Approved Insight Tools Poster. The link opens a page that details the guidelines for the use of the poster, and the posters are available in 8.5 by 11, 11 by 17, and 16 by 24 sizes for printing and posting. This is the only Insight Tools poster that is allowed to be posted during testing. And the posters must not be within reach of students during testing. It must be displayed in the classroom and cannot be placed at student desks or computers. All word lists, maps, math formulas or tables, or any other content must be covered or removed. Test-taking tips or other materials that might provide students an advantage over others who do not have access to the material are also prohibited and must be covered or removed. In place of the seating chart requirement, buildings and districts must retain test schedules as described in the updated Assessment Integrity Guide. It is possible that a testing schedule may be requested by MDE staff if relevant when working to resolve an incident report. Test schedules must include the district and building name, the building assessment coordinator's name, date of the assessment administration, location of the testing session, starting and ending time of the test session, the test that was administered, and the names of the test administrators and proctors for the test session. The Assessment Integrity Guide provides a sample testing schedule in Appendix B. The sample includes the required components of the testing schedule. The Assessment Security Training Series can be used to supplement your regular district training in preparation for the test administration. This training is currently being updated with the new information from the updated Assessment Integrity Guide. This updated training will be available in January 2019. Watch Spotlight for more information. Next, we will move on to Chapter 2 of our MSTEP Test Administration Training Series. In this section of the presentation, I will discuss tasks that are done during the 2019 administration of the MSTEP. In this section, we will discuss how to get started with both online and paper-pencil test administration, what tasks need to be done during the test administration, and some common problems that come up and how to address them if they do. We'll begin with getting started for both the online administration and paper-pencil administration. The Supports and Accommodations table should be reviewed and referenced throughout the test administration. It includes important information about allowable universal tools, designated supports, and accommodations. Be sure to view the MME Day Student Supports and Accommodations presentation for more information about what is available for students during testing. Here, I will discuss the tasks to get started for the online administration. Test sessions can be set up in the secure site if it is done by February 25, 2019. If not done by that day, then test sessions can be created in eDirect. It is important that the pre-identification through the secure site is accurate, so that all students who are expected to test are assigned to the appropriate testing sessions. It is also important to be sure students are put into all test sessions that are required for their grade. eDirect does have functionality that will help with tracking progress toward completion of testing, but the system is based on students who are in the test session. It does not identify a student who is not assigned to the test session. Next, the appropriate accommodations must be assigned in eDirect before test tickets are generated. Any embedded accommodation, that is an accommodation that is administered within the testing engine, must be assigned in eDirect. For detailed directions on assigning accommodations in eDirect, go to the eDirect user guide that is available on the eDirect website. Go to All Applications, then General Information, and then select the Documents tab. Once all students have been assigned to all of the appropriate test sessions and accommodations have been assigned, test tickets need to be printed, sorted according to your testing schedule, and distributed to test administrators. Remember that test tickets and accompanying rosters are secure materials and must be handled securely. Once test administrators begin testing, test administration progress should be monitored and any issues that come up addressed. If there is a testing irregularity that requires submission to the MDE for resolution, district coordinators can submit incident reports through the secure site. Depending on your specific role, you will inform your building or district coordinator of any issues that come up, or, if you are the district assessment coordinator, you will be responsible for submitting incident reports. I will discuss this process more when we get to the common problems and what to do section of this presentation. All test directions are grade specific. It's important for test administrators to preview the test directions before administering the test. Test directions for both paper, pencil, and online administrations are sent to schools and will be made available on the MSTEP webpage at www.michigan.gov/MSTEP. Test tickets are a secure material, so it is important that these are collected after the testing session to be securely destroyed or to be stored with the secure test materials if the student has not completed the test and will resume testing in another test session. As a reminder, students may only have one test ticket at a time. Giving a student more than one test ticket at a time is a misadministration of the test because test directions must be read to students before they start another test session. Most accommodations are printed on the test tickets. However, there may be other accommodations, such as extended time, that are not listed on the test ticket. Be sure test administrators are made aware of all accommodations for all students in his or her testing session. For the paper-pencil administration, test sessions must be scheduled according to the published schedule. Assessment coordinators must ensure that barcode labels are affixed to the student answer documents. Barcode labels are required in order to ensure the student's responses and hard work are associated with the correct student. Also, all secure testing materials must be maintained in a secure, locked location. Secure materials include test booklets, all used answer documents and unused ELA and mathematics answer documents, any used scratch paper, any reader scripts, translated versions of the test, or other accommodated forms of the test. Again, testing irregularities should be monitored and addressed appropriately. If needed, district coordinators submit incident reports through the secure site for MDE resolution or documentation. Again, I will discuss this further in the common problems portion of this presentation. As with the online test directions, paper-pencil test directions are grade-specific, and again, it is important that test administrators preview the test directions before administering the test. This is true even when a test administrator has administered the same MSTEP assessment in a previous year. It is important to refresh one's memory about the assessment before administering it. Answer documents must have the barcode label affixed in the space provided before administering the test. If additional barcode labels are needed for any reason, for example, a student has enrolled after the pre-ID for barcode labels deadline on February 13, 2019, they can be printed from the secure site. Go to Assessment Registration, select Barcode Labels, and complete the search criteria. And test booklets should be securely stored and given to test administrators at the start of a testing session. Accommodations and supports, if provided, must also be completed on the answer document by a test administrator or building coordinator. Once testing begins, there are tasks that are completed during the administration for both online and paper-pencil administration. Any scratch paper used during testing must be collected for shredding. Used scratch paper and used graph paper are secure materials. Student names need to be written on scratch paper used so that if a break is taken, it can be returned to the correct student. The scratch paper policy has been updated for 2019, so be sure that all test administrators are aware of the full MSTEP scratch paper policy before testing. The scratch paper policy is available on the MSTEP webpage at www.michigan.gov/MSTEP. For both the online and paper-pencil administration, test administrators should actively monitor the assessment. This includes moving through the room to view testers and maintain a view of all students throughout the test session. Test administrators' full attention must remain on testing at all times. Any distraction must be avoided, including any side conversations, reading, eating, or completing other work during the test. For safety and security, if video surveillance cameras are already in place in a testing room and are used to maintain security, they are allowed to be used during the test session. Cameras should be directed away from test items, and any recording of a test session must be deleted as soon as possible after the test session. Users can monitor test completion in eDirect on the student status screen by grade and by content. As a reminder, the screen shows progress toward completion of students who are assigned to test sessions. It does not identify students who are expected to test by the MDE but were not assigned to the test session. Assessment coordinators must make sure that all students who are expected to test are pre-ID'd in the secure site and assigned to all of the appropriate test sessions, either through the secure site or in eDirect. Materials need to be collected after the test administrations for both online and paper-pencil administrations. Be sure that security compliance forms are collected from all staff involved in test administration. Also, final copies of testing schedules must be completed and collected. These should be kept for 3 years after the test administration. For paper-pencil administrations, all test booklets and answer documents must be collected. Any used answer document must have the correct barcode label affixed, and any accommodations used need to be filled in on the answer document. Also, be sure the student information is completed and matches the information on the barcode label, in the event the barcode label becomes damaged or falls off of the document. The test administration manual includes detailed instructions for materials return. Next, I will discuss what to do when any problems arise during the test administration. Any time that a testing irregularity occurs, the district MSTEP coordinator must report the irregularity to the Office of Educational Assessment and Accountability. Detailed information regarding how to address an irregularity, including many possible scenarios, and the most frequent irregularities that occur, will be provided in the MSTEP Test Administration Manual. The secure site also has detailed step-by-step instructions for submitting an incident report at www.michigan.gov/secure-site-training. Some examples of testing irregularities can be if a student becomes ill and goes home before completing a test, or a student may transfer from or into the school during the testing window, or if a building emergency occurs during the test session. Also, if a student is not provided assigned accommodations or is provided accommodations that are not assigned, or a student prohibited behavior during the test administration. These irregularities are examples of reasons that an incident report should be submitted. Incident reports are submitted through the secure site. Users select the Student Assessments tab at the top of the page, and then Incident Reports in the drop-down menu. Once you have selected the test cycle and entity information, select the grade, content area, and testing mode. Based on these selections, the incident category drop-down will update. Then select the incident subcategory. Directions about what category and subcategory should be used based on your situation can be found in the incident reporting table in the MSTEP Test Administration Manual. This table is organized based on the incident categories listed in the drop-down menu of the secure site. Perhaps the most common problem that happens in the online administration is a student submitting a test before completing it. When this happens, if there are 5 or fewer questions answered, contact the call center at 1-877-560-8378 and select option 2. If there are more than 5 questions answered, then an incident report is required. On the science field test, those can be locked by the call center regardless of the number of questions answered. Another common problem is if a student becomes ill or is removed from the test session before completing the test. For an online administration, collect the student's test ticket and instruct the student to pause and exit the test. The test may be resumed in a later test session using the original test ticket. For a paper-pencil administration, the test administrator should collect the test materials and flag the last question answered. The test can then be resumed during a make-up session, and an incident report should be submitted by the district assessment coordinator. Students testing on Chromebooks who have the wrong keyboard setting, U.S. International Keyboard, will not be able to use quotation marks or apostrophes while in text boxes. To resolve this issue before testing begins, choose Settings on the Chromebook, then choose Keyboard Settings, and be sure U.S. Keyboard is selected. If this happens during testing, have the student click outside of the test box, then press Ctrl-Shift-Spacebar, which will bring up the option to select U.S. Keyboard setting. In the online administration, there may be an issue with insight disconnections or other technical errors. This can be due to a local connectivity issue or a network issue, or it may be an issue that needs to be resolved with DRC. So the first step in any situation of a technical issue while testing is to contact your local technology coordinator. If the technology coordinator cannot resolve the problem, then they should contact the DRC customer support, and, if necessary, the district assessment coordinator should submit an incident report if the problem cannot be solved by the technology coordinator or DRC's customer support. Finally, I will discuss Chapter 3 of the MSTEP Test Administration MME Day Training after the MSTEP Test Administration. In this section, I will be discussing the handling of materials after testing, return of materials for paper-pencil testing, and reporting. First, I will discuss the appropriate handling of secure and non-secure materials after testing. Next, I will cover the packaging and return of materials for schools with paper-pencil materials. And I will end by discussing preliminary reports availability and final reports. In this section, I will review the appropriate ways to handle test materials after testing and the instructions for returning materials. Some secure materials must be destroyed after testing. There are secure materials that need to be securely destroyed for both online and paper-pencil testing. In online testing, examples of secure materials include test tickets and rosters, and all scratch paper and graph paper used. These materials must be securely destroyed after the test administration. For paper pencil testing, examples of secure materials include all used scratch paper. Unused science and social studies answer documents must also be securely destroyed. Be sure to review the Instructions for Materials Return section of the MSTEP Test Administration Manual. The Instructions for Materials Return section of the MSTEP Test Administration Manual lists which secure materials should be returned to the MSTEP contractor, what schools should keep, and what schools must destroy. Secure materials that need to be returned to the MSTEP contractor include all used answer documents, the orange special handling envelope, all used and unused test booklets, and any accommodated versions of the test. In this section, I will discuss the preliminary and final reports. Preliminary reports are available within 48 hours of the student submitting the test and will remain available until final reports are released. They are accessed through the Secure site by selecting the Reports drop-down and then selecting Dynamic Score Reports. The preliminary reports include only machine-scored items. They do not include any hand-scored items. And it is also important to remember that preliminary data is for school use only and may not be shared with the public. Schools must treat this as embargoed data. The science field test is not included on preliminary reports. The results of the field test will be reported on a district-level aggregate report after final reports have been released. More detailed information about the preliminary reports and the data in the preliminary reports is available in the Guide to Preliminary Reports on the MSTEP webpage at www.michigan.gov/MSTEP under the Reports section. These are some helpful links for you throughout the MSTEP Test Administration. Best Practices MSDS Reporting Guide for Trouble-Free Accountability Data, the Assessment Coordinator Training Guide webpage, which includes a link to the bookmarks for Michigan State assessments, the MSTEP webpage link, and Secure Site training. Thanks for watching.